Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Oh, here I go. Let me move my head so the glare from my mirror doesn't mess with you all. So good morning, Tina. I see a few people joining in. Just taking another a minute or two to allow some others to join in with us this morning. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Shanoa. I see a few of you. Good morning, Shannon. Good morning. All right. For those of you who are joining for the very first time, my name is Marquissa Williams. I am the CEO and founder of Elevate Leadership Enterprises. And I want to say that, all things leadership, my passion is to really to see leaders to develop, to walk in their purpose, to help small businesses with team building and employee engagement. I do workshops. I do one-on-one consultations, in addition to, of course, corporate consultations as well, just to help others to get to where they need to be. So my passion is big on leadership, healthy leadership, giving you the resources, tools that you need to succeed. So one of the things that I say, and you'll find also on my website, that I give you that blueprint to your leadership success, because I recognize that everyone is different. Everyone has different gifts, different talents, and one size does not fit all when it comes to developing and going into leadership. So I want to thank you all for joining this morning. It looks like this is going to be a pretty decent packed house this morning. Good morning, Eb. Good morning, my sister. It's been a while. Been praying for you. I want to just let everyone know, every Monday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be doing leadership lifts to provide tools again and resources to encourage, to uplift us as leaders. Oftentimes, there's not a space for leaders to come to get replenished and to talk about things that might be on their heart and on their mind. So this month of April, I'm going to dedicate this month to answering your questions, answering some questions that you might have as it pertains to leadership. I will give you the URL to go to if you think about questions. But today, I'm gonna thank you, Christine. I'm glad that you're finding these scopes awesome. Thank you. Let me do some blocking this morning. Sometimes you just got to go there. So I'm just going to find really quick the URL for questions. And if someone could type this in for me, that would be so awesome. So the URL to submit any questions or thoughts that you might want me to talk about throughout the month is tinyurl.com/topics for M as in Mary W. That's tinyurl.com/topics for MW. So hopefully you can get that, and I'll repeat it again later. But today I want to definitely focus on a question that was sent to me last week. And that's what we're going to work on. So the question that was asked today was, what to do when you get exhausted in leadership? How do I rekindle the passion? And throughout, thank you, Minister Graham. Thank you so much for joining this morning. So awesome to see you. Everyone, I need you guys to follow Minister Donald Graham. He has some awesome uplifting scopes. Minister Graham, if you could put up your handle so we could follow you on Periscope, that would be a blessing. All right. Excellent. So today, I want to first talk about this topic again. Being exhausted as a leader. How do I rekindle the passion? Terrell submitted this question last week. I hope that he's on. If not, we can definitely go on. You can go on YouTube to look at the scopes or the replay of this message. Again, so let me just jump right in. And sometimes we go a little long, and I want to be mindful of your time. I know everybody has to go to work. I, for one, am off today, so I have a little bit of more time on my hands today. So, all right. So the statement, what do I do, or the question, what do I do when I get exhausted, when we're exhausted as a leader? The first thing I want to do is acknowledge the fact that if you acknowledge that you're exhausted, that is absolutely key as a leader. It is absolutely key to even know that you're exhausted. Oftentimes as leaders, our lifestyles is very busy. So it becomes the norm to just be busy, and we keep going and going and going. So what I found very interesting about this question is that, what do I do when I'm exhausted? That to me, I'm sitting at the table with you, I'm going to say that is so great that you actually acknowledge the fact that you are just tired and exhausted. Again, oftentimes we don't realize that we are tired, we're exhausted, we're worn out, because again, our busyness becomes the norm. So that's the first thing. So as many as people who live busy lives, and I'm peeking over at some of my notes and my thoughts, just in case you're wondering. I'm giving you my undivided attention. Oh, before I continue, please share this scopes with your followers. For Android, it's up and down. I believe it's up. For iPad or Apple users, it's to the right or to the left. Please invite your followers to these scopes. So understanding that we are exhausted is the number one thing, and knowing where we are as far as leadership is concerned. So even at times, it takes a lot of humility to even acknowledge the fact that we are exhausted and that we are tired. It takes a transparent leader to say that to others that, you know what, I'm just wiped out, I'm done, I'm over it. Because so many times in the corporate world and ministry, people look at us and they think that, we don't need to sleep, all those things. And sometimes we try to live up to other people's standards. And for us to admit that we're tired and that we're exhausted can appear that it's a weakness, and it's absolutely not a weakness at all, or some form of failure. Absolutely not. It is a noble thing, a transparent thing, and it's an acknowledgement of a strong leader that to acknowledge to someone that they're tired and that they are exhausted. So I wanted to kind of get that out the way. Because it's very important to know where we are as a leader. So what do you do when you find yourself tired and exhausted? The question. So one of my good friends always say, sit down somewhere. Sit yourself down somewhere. It's time to stop what you're doing and sit down. That's the first thing. First things first. You want to make sure that you're taking some time out for yourself and go sit down. Yeah, those who are laughing know. You probably said it to me. But that's okay. I'm open to criticism, constructive criticism. I'm open to feedback, okay? So yes, I have to sit down somewhere. But in doing the sitting down, I'm going to give you some points. We must reflect. We must, when we take that moment, be intentional. We talked about that in the latter part of last year about being intentional. Setting aside some time to sit down and to just reflect. So you want to reflect on a few things. And if someone should know it, if you're able, maybe you can scribe for me this morning. But someone just throw out some of these nuggets. Excuse me, I think I'm trying to get some kind of cold or whatever happening here. But so reprioritizing. So as you're reflecting, you want to reprioritize. Start planning days off. Get the notepad out. Look at your work calendar. Look at your ministry calendar. Look at your personal calendar and taking some days off. I had to admit to my circle of friends that, hey, you know what? I've been on this grind for months. I literally did not take any days off. I've been traveling, all those things. And, All right. So if someone could just throw out some nuggets, if you're able to, that's fine. But start planning some days off, looking at your calendar. Some things that you want to think about when you're reprioritizing is, what areas or what dates do I have on my calendar? Who do I need to say no to? We might have to say no. Say no when necessary, because we get in the habit of saying yes all the time, looking at opportunities and thinking that we're going to miss something, but we have to acknowledge the fact that we're tired. So it's okay to say no or reschedule and replan. So reprioritize. That's right, Minister Graham. Absolutely. It takes a strategy. So in our sitting down, we have to reprioritize. Think about how we can reschedule. Yes, that's right. We have to still be still is still being productive. I like that. I like that. So contemplate on what you need to implement for self-care and prevention of exhaustion. Why did I get to this exhausted place in the first place? I'm kind of in this space, so I'm glad Terrell posed this question this morning. So one of my good friends, Erica, she said, you know what? When you come back from your travel, I want you to get back into the things that you really like to do. And one of the things I love to do is hot yoga. I have not done it in a while. I've been talking about it, so now I have to be about it. That's something that really helps to recenter me. It helps to refocus. So those are some things that I'm going to do as I'm sitting down. But you want to be able to contemplate and implement some things of with self-care. So absolutely do that. Hey, Diane. Yes, absolutely. Considering your health, you want to be able to think about that as you're sitting down and you're reflecting. The other thing is you want to start asking yourself some questions in your sit down moment. And that is, do I now need assistance in getting the job done? Are you trying to do everything by yourself? We spoke about for the month of March, all about team and how we identified that we can't do this thing alone. I know some of us, we start our business, we can't afford to pay people to help us, but I am quite sure if people are following your vision, you're telling them what you're about, a lot of times people will volunteer their time. You will absolutely be surprised at who would sign up to help you for free. So acknowledging the fact that you may need to get some assistance going forward. Who can I get to help me in this journey and to help me with my passion and my goals, accomplishing my goals? So as a leader, we need to do that. Absolutely, Bruce. Delegating is a powerful tool. We talked about that all last month for March Madness. It's okay to delegate to the right people, of course, but you definitely want to be able to do that. So then you want to also ask yourself, do I even like what I do anymore? Is it taking me just so much effort to get up and do the day-to-day things? Am I on track with my purpose? Am I on track with my business? Am I doing what I need to do? Am I still in love with the very thing that I'm doing? For the month of February, I challenged us as leaders in my newsletter about writing a love letter to ourselves and remembering what you fell in love with for the very first time. What do I love about what I do every day? Have I fallen out of love with what I do? Those are some very key questions that we need to ask ourselves, because sometimes we're exhausted fighting against a path that we're not supposed to be on anymore. So those are some things that we need to talk about and think about and ask ourselves as we're in our sit-down moment. So those are some things about, how to deal with what to do when we're exhausted as a leader. We have to go sit down somewhere and reflect and refocus and reprioritize all those rewords, refocus, reprioritize, rekindle, all of those things we need to actually sit down and do. Be intentional about it. It may not be a space in your home. Sometimes being at home makes us want to do more things. It makes us want to do more things. Go to a quiet place in a Starbucks or a bookstore or the library and really think about what are our next steps when we find our place of being exhausted. So thank you so much for the hearts. Give them up. If you're feeling what I'm saying this morning, I appreciate it. Again, share with your followers. Those of you who are joining for the very first time, I am Marquissa Williams. I'm the CEO and founder of Elevate Leadership Enterprises. I'll let you know where to follow me, how you can find me, and more information at the end of the scope. But I definitely don't want to take away from what I'm sharing today, but I do want to let you know who's speaking to you, all right? So after you have rested, reflected, reprioritized, and have been replenished, you have to begin now. You've written out your plan. You got to begin to walk in it. What did you receive in your time of reflection? Start walking in the plan that you have designed for yourself in your sit-down moments. So note, when you cannot get a new plan, that you can't get a new plan without stepping back and resting and reflecting. I put that as a side note. This is the only way that exhaustion can be remedied. So you get your rest and you refocus and you replenish. All right? So the second question, part of the question was, how do I rekindle my passion for leading, whether it's in your business, in your home, or in ministry? Here are some things that you need to ask yourself in this moment. So if you want to thinking of a question, you could go to www.tinyurl.com/topics4FORMW. You can submit your questions there. If you are following my page, my fan page on facebook.com/I am Marquissa, you can submit your questions there as well, or simply go to my website, which is MarquissaWilliams.com, and there's a contact me button. You can actually type your question in there for me to answer some questions for you and throughout the month of April. So again, the second question is, how do I rekindle my passion for leading and in my business, ministry, and home? So again, we talked about reflecting. What do you love? How did you lose your passion for what you do? What stopped you? Was there some areas that you disliked? Was there areas that you hated? Why did you walk away in the first place? Was it a person? Was it people? Was it things that you observed that just quenched your spirit, that just quenched your fire? What were those things? What quenched your passion? Again, it takes some mental notes. You have to jot these things down. What stopped you from being passionate about what you do? Did you lose your passion because you believed that you failed at something and you never rebounded from that failure? You just thought you couldn't do it anymore. Was it a hurt? Was it a disappointment? What were those contributing factors to losing your passion? So if it's people, and I've been in that place where I had high expectations about the people that I was around. They were all leaders. I looked up to them. And once I got close enough to that inner circle, that inner core, I was quickly disappointed about some of the things that I found out about those leaders that I looked up to. And it did something to me. It disappointed me. And I felt like, maybe I'm not in the right place. Maybe this thing is not for me. I felt so very disappointed because I looked up to people. And a lot of times we do admire people, and it's okay to do that. But one thing as a leader is that we cannot make them the end-all be-all. We have to be careful because we'll fall very easily because other people have failed us. So if you have become angry against someone, someone did something to you and you just stopped moving forward in your ministry, you just stopped moving forward in your leadership and your passion and your goals, I encourage you to forgive. You have to forgive to move on. I know in the corporate setting, a lot of times we don't talk that way, but I tell you, forgiveness goes a long way. Forgive and move on so that you can focus on your purpose. You don't want anything to deter you from moving forward in your own destiny, your business, your ministry, all of those things. Even forgive yourself. If you failed at something, sometimes I know I could be like that. I make a mistake. I'm guilty of being a perfectionist in some areas. And when things don't go my way, sometimes I feel defeated and I need that extra push to get me back up on my feet. And the first thing that I need to do, first and foremost, is to forgive myself and say, you know what? Yeah, I did make that mistake. I owned it, and I'm going to move forward. So sometimes that's a passion killer as well. So those are some things that may contribute to, yes, Shannon, it's a big deal. Some things, sometimes, you know, in our failures, that's what propels us to move forward and to get stronger. But we have to get over that hurdle. We can't just stay there in that perceived failing moment. Sometimes in our failures, we learn. It's lessons learned from that we want to be able to, you know, still move forward, even in our failures. So what do? How do we get our fire back? And I might be repetitive in some areas because I think that it overlaps into exhaustion, some of the tips that I gave for exhaustion. But I want to say that you keep it moving. You find trusted sources that can help you get back on your feet. Revisit, you know, after sitting down, you want to revisit why you lost your passion in the first place and get a new game plan. And stop worrying about people. Do not worry about people. You know, someone said people will fail you every time. I partially agree with that, but that cannot be our end all be all. Leadership, being a leader is a matter of the heart. Why am I called? You ask yourself, why am I called to do the very thing that I'm doing? Refocus on that and forget about what's going on around you. Focus on the goal at hand to keep you going. You have to really do that. So focus on what you want to accomplish. Understand what your purpose is. Figure out your purpose. If you're not sure, you think you need to do some things, rethink some things, because oftentimes we fall into a trap, again, of hurts and disappointment because we don't know who we are anymore. Ask the question, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? And jot it down so that you can get a game plan. Consult with others. Sometimes we may need a life coach. Every coach, every leader needs someone to help us through these times. So I have a life coach. When I get, you know, overwhelmed, I have a lot of things on my mind and it's just stirring up in my head and it's not on paper and I need to work it out. So, you know, check me out. Check me out. Again, I'm a certified life coach. I'm a certified biblical counselor. And my passion is to help to see people move forward. So check, you know, go to my website, sign up for a consultation. There's so many life coaches, maybe directly in your city, that could even help you as well. But you need that for your push. Pull on resources. Again, ask the question, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing in this season in my life? We have to be careful not to shut down our purpose or allow others to deter us from serving and accomplishing our dreams. That's right, Ruth. Always regroup and choose. Yes, pick your own battles. We can't be all things to everybody. So sometimes that deters us as well. So sometimes I think being exhausted, saying yes to so many things, gives us a false sense of that we can't do this anymore. We have to pick and choose our battles, pick and choose strategically what opportunities we should take advantage of. Don't take advantage of all of them for the sake of being popular and all those things, because again, you have to be healthy, a healthy leader. Exhausted leader can no longer think clearly or think properly or make right decisions. So you want to be able to take that mental break, sit down somewhere, relax, refocus, reprioritize so that you can think about your next steps and where you're going. Reflect on, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? I think it's an awesome thing. There's so many drivers, which I really like. I love personality tests, quizzes. That also helps you to point to where you are. Take spiritual gift assessments. You can find those on the web for free. All of those things tie into identifying and helping you to regroup and repurpose who you are so that you don't burn out and that you rekindle the passion of what you're supposed to be doing, that you have passion for what you're doing. So even if you're afraid, do everything. That is right, Christine. Every door isn't meant for us to walk through. So we have to be strategic in what we're doing so we don't find our place in exhaustion and we don't lose our passion for doing what we do. So that is really what all I have to share as far as this question is concerned today. Thanks, Terrell, for being the first to ask the question for this month of April. What do we do when we find ourselves as leaders being exhausted? How do we rekindle our passion again? So definitely seek out a life coach, sit down somewhere, reflect, refocus, jot down some notes, and begin to reprioritize and replan. So I want to definitely end with this scope today, but I do want to share some key things. Pardon my reach because I did not pull this this up. In my hurry to be on time this morning, I did not pull up an advertisement. I will be will be a part of what is a Perry revival. A Perry revival. Thank you, Christine, and thank you all for the hearts. A Perry revival is simply a revival on Periscope. And I will be one of the seven sisters that will be speaking on April the 12th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And the topic of this Perry revival is From Pain to Power. From Pain to Power. And I will be one of the sisters speaking on this awesome dynamic topic of From Pain to Power. So I want you to join us. Mark your calendars, April the 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 to 10 p.m. 7 powerful sisters speaking a word through teaching, through preaching, through our creative gifts and talents. We will be talking about that. So mark your calendars. I will share this picture. I'm trying to find it. So pardon my reach. I want you to see the picture. Visual aids certainly helps. So let's see how I can get this photo to you. Let's see if I can flip my calendar really quick. Super quick. So you see that here? So here are the Dynamic Sisters, and it's sponsored by my life coach, Joyce Gilmer, who is a dynamic encourager. So if you see us there, you see that, you can snapshot it. It's our spring Perry Revival, Tuesday, April the 12th, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be one of the speakers, From Pain to Power. So join us, join us, join us. I will post this also on my Facebook page, Twitter, and all of my social media platforms as well. All right? So flip. There we go. So again, thank you for joining today's Leadership Lift. I appreciate you taking the time out on your busy morning to join. If you have missed a portion of this scope, please do the replay and also share with your followers as well. Thank you so much. And again, if you want more information about leadership, Elevate Leadership Enterprises, you can go directly to my website at www.marquissawilliams.com. And there if you register, you can sign up for my free ebook, 5 Things Anyone Leading Anything Should Know. You will get that for free. And then you'll be on my mailing list as well for my monthly news letters. So stop by the website and check me out as well. Thank you and have a wonderful Monday.